Everybody's talking to Paul. I hear every word they're saying on my laptop, on my phone. When life seems a constant battle, I tune into Earnest Prattle. It will brighten even your darkest day.
Hello, I'm Paul Wardle, and this is my little enclave of joy and conversation, namely Earnest Prattle edition 11. And today I'll be talking to a very special individual, but before I introduce that person for you, just a wee bit of housekeeping. Well, could I please ask if you'd be kind enough just to subscribe, press the like button, leave a comment or share the video. Any of those things, I'd be really grateful. Thank you. So moving on to today's guest, I've got a beautiful individual called Stephanie Tonge, who is a intensive care nurse who recently worked at the Nightingale Hospital in the height of the COVID pandemic. We're going to talk, amongst other things today, about hope. So, on to the video. Hello, Stephanie.
Hiya, Paul.
How are you?
I am okay.
Right, as normal with these chats, for the people that might not know who you are, Stephanie, although you're fantastically world famous as far as I'm concerned, will you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, please, Steph, if that's okay?
What I do is really, really easy to say. Who I am is a little bit more complex.
Well, we've got plenty of time, Steph. You can be as complex as you want.
Okay, so what I do, I'm a nurse and I am an intensive care nurse for my sins or not. Yeah, I look after really sick patients, and I hope that I deliver the best care to them because it comes from my heart. I love what I do. Who am I? At this moment in time, as I'm talking to you, Paul, I am feeling like I am a lost person on this planet Earth, and I don't know what to do. I have ups and downs. I have ups and downs, and I think I would define myself really in a nutshell as to what I do, because I give. I'm a giver. I love giving to other people and seeing people progress. I like to see them smile. I like to see them, so, you know, improve, and that's what I am. But as a person, as me, as Stephanie, I think I'm a bit of a loner.
Well, is that a learner through choice or a learner through circumstances?
Definitely circumstances.
Right. A little bit like myself, to be fair.
High five.
High five.
High five.
I tell you, in fact.
I can't do 10 because I'm holding my phone.
You're holding your phone.
Yes.
Well, you're doing a very good job, Stephanie, so far. But I came across you first, Stephanie, through our mutual friend. And he's probably sick of me mentioning his name by now.
That's all right. He's
Alex
probably sick of me
Morrison.
mentioning his name as well.
But I came across you through the Time to Pause project. And I've spoken to you a couple of times when we've had group chats.
Yeah.
And it resonated. And you had a bit of a glow about you. And you came across as such a caring individual that even though I'd never met you before, I had a bit of a soft spot for you.
Oh, here we go.
When Alistair said to me, for your birthday this year, Paul, which was yesterday, by the way, and he said, should I get you somebody special to talk to for your birthday? He said, who would you like me to get for you? I said, Stephanie Tonge. So I wanted to talk to you because, like I say, I think you've got a glow about you. I think you can tell you're a caring individual. And I might tell everybody as well that you're the star, one of the stars of the Time to Pause film, which was just shown at the Gothenburg Film Festival.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, likewise.
But when you appeared in that, I think, did you have your regalia on at work? Your outfit and your mask and your... So it was very poignant because it made it real as to what you have to wear on a daily basis. I mean, it's hard enough working in an intensive care unit without looking like you're a, astronaut.
Exactly.
Because, I thought, hang on a minute, where's those good looks of our staff? I can't see her.
No.
I can't see her for PPE. Is that what it's called?
PPE, yes.
So it was very harrowing to think that you've got to offer care to individuals that are in a very serious situation through all of that regalia, which must be really, really difficult and really uncomfortable. So I bet after a shift, you are physically and mentally exhausted.
Just a little bit. I think, the colleagues, they definitely pull you through the moments. But the PPE, I don't know whether it's the batch that we received recently, but whoever designed the PPE that's currently out needs sacking, because you put it on, you put your yellow or your blue, whatever color it comes in, your gown, so to speak, and you start sweating. Yeah. I don't sweat, Paul. Generally speaking, I mean, I can run.
Are you like the Queen? She doesn't sweat either.
Not quite.
She's probably sweating at the moment, to be honest.
She probably is, right? Yeah. Ooh, what with all the drama going on. Yeah, well, probably she isn't. She's got lots of experience behind her.
Yeah.
But no, you kind of put it on, and within 5 minutes you are sweating because it doesn't allow your skin to breathe.
No.
So as grateful as I am for the PPE, it's just like, whoa. You come, say for example, I think where I work, we're very fortunate to be staffed and to have breaks regularly, whereas those in the NHS, God bless them, they don't. They don't. When I was at the Nightingale, you kind of, your break is so far in the future, you kind of bypass, oh, I'm going to have a break soon so I can get out of this PPE. It doesn't even come to mind. You sweat buckets. Your gloves are absolutely soaked. Your entire body is soaked, and then
Have you got a large one I can have, please?
You want to try it?
I want to lose some weight, so obviously that'd be a great idea. I might sit there doing my job at my desk in my back room wearing one of those outfits.
Oh my gosh, no, please don't. Please don't. No, it's not pretty. But, you know,
But you mentioned the Nightingale. What was your experience like at the Nightingale?
Different. Everybody stepped up a role. So I am an intensive care nurse, yes, but I was responsible for 4 to 6 staff at the bedside who had no intensive care experience behind them. And I didn't know how to manage these people because I can do my job, but to do other people's job, teach them, and know that you have those lives as a responsibility, it was a bit overwhelming for me personally, because it's not really a position that I've been put in before. Whereas others, I think they really thrived. You know, they loved the adrenaline rush. They loved the buzz. They were like, oh, you know, this is great. For me, it was not. I just saw safety issues. I saw danger. I saw so many problems on an hourly basis, not a daily basis, an hourly basis. And they had to be fixed real quick. So it was quite different.
But you never had COVID, have you, Stephanie?
No. They call me mutant at work.
You're really, really lucky. Have you had your jabs?
I've had one. I've got my second one next week on the 18th. Okay. Yeah.
So in relation to the Nightingale now, what's happened to the Nightingale?
Nightingale, it was built real quick, and they discovered 2 problems. So you have levels in critical care, okay? Level 2 would be for, you know, close observation, patients, you know, kind of okay. Level 3 is the worst. And the Nightingale was kind of built to take level 3. So ventilated, sedated, on a number of organ support medications. It was built for level 3. But we quickly realized that it couldn't support level 3. And what was happening was level 3 patients, we were faced with something that we didn't know how to treat. Number one, it was all very new to everybody. So we were treating them, I guess, how we thought would be best. But what we discovered was that they either would be really long-term ventilation, maybe that all their numbers would look really, really good. So we would remove the tube and then discover that they would crash really, really quick. So we had to re-tube them. And that caused a huge, huge problem for the Nightingale because we didn't have any backup resources. Right. Whereas normal hospitals would. For example, long-term intubation usually requires a tracheostomy. Have you ever heard of a tracheostomy?
Is that the part through the actual throat, is it? Or...
Yeah. Rather than the mouth and going down, it goes through the trachea. So that caused a problem where we were unable to facilitate because obviously, you know, we couldn't. No. We couldn't. There were sort of basics within the Nightingale to support ventilated patients. We also discovered multi-organ failure. whereas the Nightingale was really equipped for single organ failure, being respiratory. And after a long time being intubated, they naturally, I think, developed multi-organ failure, being on certain drugs, and their kidneys perhaps went into failure. They'd need dialysis. They would need, their clotting was rather deranged. Their blood clotting was deranged, etc., etc. The second problem posed staff. And that was, you can't take ICU nurses and pick them off a tree.
No.
It's
well, I'll be honest with
impossible.
you, the things you're telling me, I'm actually sat here now, physically having a heart attack, thinking about what you have to do. There's that much pressure. I mean, if I get my job wrong, somebody gets a £200 electricity bill. If you get your job wrong, somebody passes away. What an amazing amount of pressure and stress. And then you come home from work and you have to turn off.
You don't.
Well, how can you turn off?
Yeah, you don't. I used to have the craziest dreams where I remember one of them like it was just bizarre. And there would be these beheaded patients receiving receiving treatment, and the heads would be stored in this weird tank. Oh my gosh, it was really absurd. And you don't switch off.
I thought I weird dream stuff. That tops a lot, but somebody would probably analyse that and tell you it means something.
Yeah, of course, that they actually had dream interpreters at the Nightingale.
Yeah. Did you speak to one of them?
No.
They probably didn't talk to you, Steph.
It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I think the body goes through stressors, and it goes through a certain amount, a degree of adrenaline.
Yeah.
Adrenaline. And it's only natural that, you're going to be having vivid dreams, having really crazy dreams that make no sense. You're not going to really shut off. But I must say, Paul, that my time with COVID positive patients, my time in the Nightingale was really, really, really short. And I've said this with Alistair, but my hat goes off to all of those ICU nurses who have continued in this pandemic, who have been in the NHS, have not had a break. I've not had a break either. I've not had any annual leave, but still, I've been able to go back to my workplace and not be as intense.
Right.
But others are still continuing, and I really, really, really do not know how they do it. Complete and utter admiration for them.
Well,
really,
you and your colleagues are superheroes, and well, you make those funny noises and pull them faces, but it's true. You are superheroes. I couldn't do what you do.
But I couldn't do what you do either.
Well, I just do my best. This is my year's anniversary of being locked in this house.
Mm-hmm.
But the ability to talk to amazing individuals such as yourself has kept me going, and I now feel that yourself and other people I've met through the Time to Pause project are now part of a extended family. Yeah,
definitely.
I'm so looking forward to running to give you a big hug.
I told you I'm going to pad myself.
Well, pad yourself. You can borrow my pads. I've still got them. The American football days. But yeah, this is what's kept me going, is interacting with amazing individuals such as yourself, Steph. Now, I wanted to bring in a theme for our chat, because I think right now it's a good time to bring that word into our lives after 12 months of horrendous negativity. I'm looking for the hope. And do you think we are coming to the crossroads where things are going to get better in relation to the COVID situation? Are we there yet? Or...
hope. When you mention the word hope, I think there's an automatic link with a vaccine. Lots of people, there's been so much so much contraindications on social media about the vaccine. At the end of the day, you know, intensive care, if you think about it, is all science.
Yes.
Right? It's all science. If we didn't have that science behind us, we wouldn't have intensive care. We wouldn't have the medications to keep people alive. That's science.
Correct.
But yet there's so much. What's the word I'm looking for? There's so much. It's not negativity. It's
there's skepticism.
Complete skepticism,
and people aren't trusting of those in power. There's these conspiracy.
Well, kind of rightly so. They're not trusting of those in power because, the government.
Well, those in power do abuse their power, and I don't care what party you're from.
Yeah.
Some of them are all the same, to be fair.
Yeah.
I've always prided myself on being middle of the road, and I won't take an opinion either way, especially on a public video like this. I'll try and remain neutral, but there's a lot wrong at the top, which is fair to be said.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of skepticism about COVID jabs. I mean, some people. Well, you might think they're stupid, but they think they're putting microchips in his arms. So,
sorry to say, but microchips in your arm, okay, fine. You know, if that was the case, that's the case, but it's not. But what's the majority of people that actually have a mobile phone these days, which is Android iPhone?
Exactly.
There's cameras everywhere. There's, we're doing a video call now. Who's to say nobody else can tap into it?
Correct.
I mean, absolute nonsense with regards to chip.
Yeah.
You're tracked anyway. If you've got a fitness app on your phone, you're tracked. If you've got Google Maps or you use sat nav, you're tracked.
I mean, it's probably somebody now laughing at that video of me singing in the shower naked last Thursday in Mexico. So everything gets everywhere these days, and
it does.
You've got a digital trace. You've got a digital trace now.
Yeah.
Where Big Brother's watching you 24/7.
Pretty much. Yeah, it is. And you've got to, I think you've got to come to the conclusion of, okay, fine, I accept it. I accept technology. I accept science. Science is always in favor of allowing people to live longer.
Well, correct. Is that a good thing?
I don't know, is it?
No, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
That's going to be on an individual basis, I think. Is it a good thing?
Well, your team might be a premonition of things to come. There might be heads in jars being preserved for when they can regenerate bodies and pop them back on again. But the volatile life I've led, I think one life's enough.
No, well,
You can be in the movie when we make my love story, Steph. I'll let you be in the movie.
Oh, thank you very much. Feel very privileged.
No, well, you can have one of the starring roles, but I mean, we tiptoed around the edges there with regards to the word hope. What gives you hope, Steph? And you can be as
Bible.
honest as you want to be.
The Bible.
The Bible gives you hope.
Yeah, it does.
Because I know very recently, weren't you baptized very recently?
Yeah, I was baptized in November. I think I said to you, I'm no Bible basher. You know, that's not a part of me. The Bible brings me peace. It brings me, it makes my mind question things, question life, and think, oh, okay. And it's nice to read. It brings me hope that we as humans will always be loved, regardless of, you know, I think so long as there is, we're all sinners. We're all sin.
Well,
However you want to look at,
some more
you
than
know,
others, Steph, I might say.
some more than others, yes, indeed. But I think so long as there's recognition of that sin, and if you're going to continue to repeat that sin, then have a good deep look at yourself as to who you want to be as a person. If you recognize that sin and you think, okay, you know, let's change myself as a person to be more Bible terms would be more godly, to be more of a nicer person,
Yes.
you know, and a good individual, where you are not only being a more godly person, but you're being good to yourself. And that's really hard to do in a sinner's world. It's really hard to do. You're kind of constantly fighting a daily battle. Whereas if it's negative thoughts, if it's being, I don't know, if it's taking that sip of alcohol to the extent where you're abusing it, sex, pornography, all of that stuff. And it just makes you really look into the type of person that you are. Opens your eyes.
It certainly does open your eyes. Me personally, until very recently, I haven't really had much hope. And hope's a thing that I'm learning to come to terms with, because there was no hope until recently. I'm thankful for things I've got that I didn't realise until somebody pointed it out to me. It's like Paul Jr. I mean, Mum said, it's things like that, and little things to be thankful for. And it's just started raining here.
Okay.
And I love hearing the rain on the window.
It's lovely, isn't it?
I
It
like
is really.
the pleasures. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
And so you can find hope in the simplest things, can't you? Because
100%.
that's something that's always going to be there, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. I think people delve really deeply into hope for the future. And sometimes it's just a matter of living in the now, you know, living in what do I appreciate today? And, you know, Captain Tom Moore.
Yes.
His saying was, tomorrow's going to be a better day.
Correct.
He lived 100 years.
Not a bad innings, bless him.
No. And just with that single sentence, tomorrow's going to be a better day, that gives hope in itself, right?
It certainly does. So, in relation to the circumstance we're in now, do you think this year we're going to get better? We're going to get back to some sort of normality?
I think if people behave themselves, and the majority are vaccinated, because you need a certain percentage of the population to be vaccinated to eradicate a disease or, you know, a virus. So I know they're hurtling along now with the vaccines, which is good. So normality, I don't know. For me, normality really means idiocy. Previous to this pandemic, I think there were so many selfish people and not really taking into consideration what life really meant. You know, in the interim, they've lost loved ones.
Yeah.
Not only have they lost loved ones, they have not been able to be by their bedside.
Which is even worse.
It's really horrendous. I've had many days being on shift where I've come home and I cried. I cried because of the situation of the, you know, you're put in a situation where you can't allow those families in, and it hurts. It hurts to the core, and you just think, God, you know, this is really bad. You're taking away the basics of humanity, and normal is, I hope it changes. I hope normal changes.
Well, I'm hoping this whole situation was going to reset the world a little bit.
I really hope so. I really hope people just appreciate the basics of life, such as clean air, being able to go for walks, you know, being able to appreciate your family, that you have health, that you are living and you have health. These are really, really simple, bog standard basics that when they're taken away, you either die or you suffer.
So that was quite a poignant full stop there. But I know you find solace in the written word. And you was telling me recently that you've written something quite poignant in relation to our circumstances. Now,
yeah.
I know you've written this and it's going to be aired by somebody at a later date, but maybe you could treat us to maybe a section or a verse of the poem you've written recently. Would you be kind enough to do that for us, Steph?
Yes, absolutely. So just to give some sort of a background to these words that I put down on paper. I've never written a poem in my entire life before. And I was having a day, I think, where there was far too many words in my mind, far too many thoughts. And it almost felt as if I needed to, excuse this, but as if I needed to vomit everything up and out. And I started writing and I thought, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, these rhyme.
Did you find your flow, Steph?
I found a flow.
When you find your flow, you go with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that day just brought out a poem in me. And I named it Four Walls. So the background behind the title of the poem is, throughout the pandemic, I've been working extra, and when I'm not working, I come back home, and I have a very small room, and I got many bruises. It's so small. I got many bruises on my legs because I keep bashing into the bed. So it's called Four Walls because I think these four walls have seen everything. They've heard everything. They have seen my tears. They've seen, I guess, despair as well. Really sad, sorry to say, but it's the room that has seen me. me during my
It sounds like
days.
the title of my last year as well, Steph.
4 walls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if I'm going to be able to read a couple of verses for you, I might go off temporarily.
Okay.
So is that okay?
The viewers will have to be happy with looking at my face for a moment, Steph. Yes. So apologies in advance.
Yeah, apologies in advance.
Yeah.
So please bear with me.
Okay.
So I've got a poem here that I wrote in February, and it's called 4 Walls. And I'll start off by giving you just a couple of verses and perhaps maybe the end bits as well.
Thank you, Steph.
So, is it that these 4 walls become my reality? Watching me, listening to my stories, witnessing my tears upon deaf ears? Is this the new me? Or the extremes of shift work, watching over others, listening to their stories, wiping their tears from big fears? What has become of my new life? This pandemic really threw in that knife. I must put on my mask and smile a hidden smile and ask, are you okay? So I'll just jump now to major surgeries delayed, resulting in huge prices paid. When will I see you again, Mummy? Sometime soon, my dear honey. Look up to the stars at night and watch them shine bright. She lost her fight and instead followed the big bright light. For now, the walls will witness my prayers, scriptures read and tears shed. But tomorrow I'll put on my mask and show that I care. These 4 small walls will tell you that I was there. Many, however, didn't care. I'll continue to smile under my mask and undertake each and every task.
That's fantastic, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Very poignant. And I've got to admit, I was starting
No, you
a
weren't.
little bit.
Oh my gosh, what would the entire poem create?
Well, it's a bit pointy. Today is also Mother's Day. So I'm still very lucky that I've still got my mother. But it does make you think that a lot of people won't have their mothers at this moment in time. So honestly, thank you, Steph. That was very personal. And I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
That's okay.
That's fantastic.
You know, one where every single line within my poem has a memory for me, and that one in particular where I read, when will I see you again, Mummy? We had a transfer in because of the pandemic. There was a huge delay in diagnosis, and there was a young mum. She was 40, had 2 children, one almost a teenager, and the other, I think she was about 10. Anyway, because of the delays of the diagnosis because of the pandemic, she got transferred with stage 4 cancer, ovarian cancer, and she died. And she will never leave my thoughts. Yeah.
Yes, I know, it sets us off.
Well, it's so sad because, you know, I remember FaceTime with her children, and
but you give me some hope now, Steph, that I'm going to get fit at some point so I can chase you around the car park. But you've mentioned, I've mentioned my mum now, so as is normal in my vlogs, we've got to say hello to my mum.
Yeah.
My mum's name is Anne, and it's Mother's Day today as we're recording. So would you just say hello to my mother for me, please?
Happy Mother's Day, Anne. I think you have a wonderful son, Paul, and I hope he has called you today in appreciation of you being a wonderful mum.
Now, we had that great conversation with Mum earlier. She's had some chocolates. She says they're like Maltesers, but they've got no Malteser bits inside. I says, are they lint? She says, no, they're chocolates. Thinking, okay, that's a conversation for another time, bless her. Just get a little bit mixed up. I mean, we're nearly out of time now, Steph.
Yeah.
As we've touched on faith today, which is your hope and your faith. Well, it's your faith that helps to give us hope. Have you got a short prayer or anything you might want to say as an ending to the video?
I don't. I'm not one for doing prayers in public, Paul, but my heart and my thoughts will always go out to the lives lost during this pandemic, and I do hope and I do pray to God that He's able to comfort them in these real bad, tricky, shitty times.
Amen to
and
that.
That's hope, and I think hope should be for all, that we should see a next chapter and a fresher chapter. And if anything that we've learned from anything during the pandemic is appreciate one another.
Amen, Steph, as it says above your head.
Amen. It does. That's in Welsh, actually. That is in Welsh. The Lord's Prayer in Welsh.
So it just leaves me to say, Steph, is it's been emotional, but it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you. And I hope we get the chance to catch up again another time.
Likewise, yeah.
You keep being an amazing individual that you are. And I promise I'll deliver that hug some point in the future.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you for talking, Steph.
Most welcome. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.